Hi, everybody.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
To
TFT,
Tarot for Today with,
Divine Dabblings
oops,
with Oberon and Banshee.
we got to shorten that name, that's it.
And I'm enjoying a little spot of tea
And so am I, with lemon,
with lemon.
with our cat china mugs, which you better not clank too hard. At
And we
any
have
rate.
another atypical guest with us.
Yeah, Sassy has just yawned.
She has done this before.
Yes, at a key point in a meditation, I believe. Oh no, when you were
Yes.
talking, right?
No, it was a
Was a
meditation
meditation.
or something. And you said, Sassy's
Just
yawning at
yawned. Well, welcome to the stream, everybody.
Hi.
You know, this next week in the U.S. is Thanksgiving, and we tend to, there's a lot of positive and negative things associated with Thanksgiving, as far as the Native Americans go, etc.
Well, that
But
too.
it has become a tradition for us to eat lots of turkey that day.
And then fall asleep.
And also, families would get together, and of course, with that would come a lot of family conflict and issues would surface. I'm sure alcohol maybe was involved in some of that. But at any rate, so I decided to bring out today my family affirmator cards to give us all a family affirmation for our week ahead. So give me 1 second here. Let's see what I pull. And today's affirmation for the week is, oh my, we actually got a bonus card today, which is good. It's actually called Reprieve. Every family has a person who takes on more than their fair share of the collective burden. Huh, probably the one making the dinner, too. Does this sound like you? Have you been through a gauntlet of physical or emotional chores only to come out feeling like you have nothing left in the mental mop bucket? Consider this a permission slip to take a break. The world won't stop spinning if you take a minute for yourself, and your family won't fall apart if you act like a human instead of a superhero. Even Superman had a fortress of solitude. If he hadn't, we certainly wouldn't have found him crying on the bathroom floor, or would have found him crying on the bathroom floor. Well, I kind of messed that punchline up. I don't know how much you can take a break on Thanksgiving, but actually, after everybody eats the turkey, they usually pass out.
Tryptophan poisoning, as we call it sometimes.
Hey, Jacob, I already have the list going here. I see Jay Walker has also joined us. I'm going to read the list as I have it. I do not think I missed anybody so far. So Balkis was in our room first. Jacob is second. Josephine is third. Edric is fourth. I'm just going to call you KC so I don't mess up your name anymore.
Cringe.
And so Casey is next. And I see Masonic Elite has now joined us. Jay Walker, you are after Kaliel, KC. And then we have Masonic Elite who's just joined us.
So, hello to everyone, and we are about to get started with our readings.
It works for me if it works for you, KC. At any rate, I just want to say a couple of things. Oberon began his videos last week of his emotional exchanges that he's doing every Friday now on YouTube. So do check it out. It has to do with relationship matters. And probably in a couple of weeks, I'm still a little wonky on it, I will be starting my material matters show, which will have to do with financial, educational, our work life. Those kind of issues will come up in my readings. So look forward to that.
And as far as my outlook on emotional exchanges, I've already gotten a couple of nice comments and likes from some of you guys
Oh,
in
I
here.
see. Yeah.
So, thank you very much for that.
Yes, it's going well, and we look forward to doing even more. I will have another soul story coming up in December. And also, we have big plans in January for a whole, well, starting in January, let's say. Let's not get carried away. With some new program for YouTube and also, yes?
Thank you, Masonic.
Oh, I thought you saw that. I was pointing
No, I
that
didn't.
out. Okay.
Yes, and those I'm usually recording on Thursday night and then posting them so they show up around 9 o'clock on Friday mornings. So I'm still working a little bit with the camera views. That was my first one. So there's something to consider there. So I appreciate any support, and hopefully I can only get better.
Thanks for your question, Balkus. I'll get to you in just a minute. I just want to banter with you guys a little bit here. Jay is mentioning the decade is ending, and this is very true. And so in honor of that, also in the end of the year, I am going to post on Facebook and Twitter one of my spreads. This one is not exactly a spread for a year in review or year's end, but it's about inviting something new into your life. And so it's perfect for the beginning of a new year and perhaps even a new decade. So I'm going to share that because it's kind of a spread you could actually do at any time as well. So look for that for all of you who are on Facebook and Twitter. And I think we're ready to go now. So let me talk about the decks we're going to use. What do you got today, Mr.
Well, I have several decks for possible use or for specific use. I do have, of course, Paul Hewson's Dame Fortune deck, which I love. Oops, I don't have that view on. But I also brought out two other decks. One is my Gay Tarot, which I may use if necessary. And it's a beautiful, low scarable deck, which is related to the Llewellyn Company in America. But they're basically a lot of European artists, including...
so it's multi-artist deck?
No, not this deck. I'm just saying the concept of Los Scarabos is they have a number of European artists or other artists, and they're quite fabulous array of decks in the Los Scarabo tradition. We have a number of Los Scarabos. We like them a lot. And
so if anybody requests that deck, that would be,
Yeah. I also brought
a good idea.
What is this one called? Sacred Path? Ancestral Path.
It's the Ancestral Path. Yes. Very beautiful deck. I know.
And this is in the style of another deck or two I have. The Ancestral Path Tarot takes the four suits and maybe sort of divides them among different ancient peoples of the world. So in this deck, I believe the circles are more like Native American, which are, pentacles. The staves or wands are like Egyptian. Then we have some Celtic ones. So it's a very pretty deck, too. I'll probably describe it more later if I do actually read from that.
And I'm reading from the, now, I know I read a lot of cat decks and animal decks. It's true. I do have other decks, and I will be showcasing them. But today I've chosen to read from the Animal Divine Tarot, which was, I think I got its copyright around 2010. It's by Lisa Hunt. And it's very, very beautiful, very expressive. I brought out another deck because I wanted to say that one of my upcoming videos is going to be for some unique decks that I have. And Emily Carding's decks absolutely fall in that category. So I'll probably do this as one video presentation. I brought it out, but it's really tricky to read with, but I'll show you this one.
Go ahead, you can do that.
It's Tarot of the City, and it's really an awesome deck. I hope, can I get the camera view in a second? Thank you, because I just want to show some of the...
But it was showing.
I know, but I can't see it. Some of the cards from the deck.
We don't need you to see it. We just need you to show it.
I think you do. And see, the suits are renamed and stuff, so I don't want to make it too complicated for us. But I want to show this deck off because it was a really cool thing she did. There's like rhyming couplets and different things for some of the interpretations in the book. Oh dear, we almost had a cat fight here. And then the other thing is one of her other decks, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but the Transparent Tarot. If nobody's heard of that or seen that before, you have to tune into my video to see it to believe it. It's really awesome. What a concept.
Yes, thank you, Jacob, and thank you, Masonic, for your compliments. We have an idea for doing some special series of videos where we showcase a number of the really odd and different decks we have, with the concept being that we would probably do it in maybe 4 segments or so, where we would spotlight several decks, and we might try to arrange them by types. So like the transparent tarot would probably go into a segment about all the really unique decks.
It's incredibly unique. And I
Unique.
mean, I feel because it's such a odd, it's going to be interesting to see how we can film it, because it is in fact transparent cards. And the idea is you overlay one on top of the other, and it really, the images kind of merge and blend together, gives a really great nuance to the readings that you're doing. But of course, it's kind of hard to see. You have a white.
We'll figure that
yeah,
out.
we will.
The whole idea, I think, as Banshee's suggesting, is that they were really designed to overlay like that, so that the pictures end up telling much more interesting stories, or as your intuition provides. They're really amazing.
And she also did a transparent oracle, which is even more fascinating. Now, I don't want to keep you waiting much longer, but I want to also add that if you are into the Lenormand cards like me, a book I just got not too long ago and I really hadn't cracked, I'm glad I took a look at it. It's called The Art of Lenormand Reading, Decoding Powerful Messages. And what I really like about this deck is the way the author, Alexandre Musruk, actually went over everything. He parceled everything out so nicely in here. There are categories for everything. He's got every card and what if it's matched with a different card in the Lenormand and how you would interpret that. And it's just so to the point. And he talks a lot about timing in here and using the Lenormand for timing, which I think is something that I haven't explored as much as I should. So this is going to add for my knowledge. It's by, if anybody is looking for it, it is by Schiffer Publishing Company, actually a subsidiary of them, I think, which is called Red Feather Press. So look it up. I think it's copyright 2018 or 2019, and it is an awesome book. All right, with that done, let's get going with Balkis, who already put the question out there. I think Balkis wants to know what's coming between now and the end of 2019, which is a short window span. So let's see what we can find out for you.
We have another for the list.
And we have another for the list. Cappy Lady, hi. I will add you to the list, and I will let you know the order of the list soon. So hold your question. I see it's already out there, but we will get to you when we can. All right. Shuffle. I think we'll just throw 3 on this.
Sounds good.
And today I'm also using my Fairy Tale Lenormand by Lisa Hunt again. So I have 2 Lisa Hunt decks with me, basically. The artwork is by Lisa Hunt, who's really does beautiful work. And the booklet that accompanies this was written by Arwen Lynch.
And I'm going to cut.
Yep. Okay, let's see what we get. Well, I definitely think you've got a lot of air energy going on here, which may indicate communications or decisions that have to be made. There is the Page of Swords upright. And there is the Queen of Swords reversed. And there is the Moon reversed. Something indicates to me here that some decisions are going to have to be made, maybe. And it might relate to some information that is uncovered or revealed to you. You're going to find something out by year's end that is going to, I'm not going to say it's going to rock your world or anything like that, but it may force you into a position of having to make a decision of some sort.
Yes, and that decision will be one that you're going to have to try to do fairly and without partiality, and it's going to be kind of rough for you to do that, because it's a situation where you really need to be as stern as you can be without being unhuman, if you want to put it that way. The other thing too, I think, is that it's also basically a test of your character as seen by other people, that other people are going to be looking at you and saying you were very diplomatic about that, or that you hope that at least. But I think it will call upon your reservoirs of tact and diplomacy to get through that. And clearly, it is about something coming to a head that involves deceptions or scandals being revealed and the choices or decisions made subsequent to that.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to see if I can pull something else
And that's
from.
just in these next few weeks
That's
before
just
the
in.
end.
Yes, I
So,
know. So it could be a heady time for you there, Balkus. Let me pull a couple of Lenormand to see if we can't add to this.
are you going to do that thing again?
Oh dear.
Now that you've banished the other cat.
Wow. Okay. This could have to do with, okay, you have the ring and you have the tree. Now, oftentimes the tree is health and well-being. And so I'm looking at that with the ring and thinking, I wonder if this doesn't have something to do with the status, your relationship status in some way, whether you're in a relationship or not, and that this decision is going to involve, either connecting with somebody or dissolving with somebody.
And I'm really tempted to say I love trees, but I'm not going to marry one. But I'm just being awfully silly here. But
Yes,
what I
you
do
are.
feel is that what did you say?
Well, trees are like
Growth.
health and, well, they can be growth as well.
That's what I'm feeling from it,
Okay.
because I don't really read Lenormand, so I just go with what the symbols tell me.
Well, that's what you
And I
should
feel
do.
that there's growth in a relationship, and that maybe there is a deepening of a relationship and moving a relationship to another level. I'm not implying necessarily that this is a romantic relationship. It could just be a relationship where a certain amount of trust needs to be established, or partnerships need to be secured to really make the project or the situation fulfilling.
For the most part, Balkus, these are positive cards for you. It's just that you may have to make some type of important decision. And, we always sweat that. So don't sweat it. I think everything will turn out okay. And with the moon reversed, that's just indicating, you're going to be finding out information, something that you really need to know.
Okay.
And that's what we have for you. I see a few things on the stream I wanted to comment on.
The
First
animal?
off, how cute we are. And secondly, Jay Walker, I assume you're talking about if we read for animals. I have read for my own animals before. I have not been asked to do so for others yet, but that's not to mean we couldn't try. After all, we did do a reading on your singing voice last time, so...
Well, we do feel that, for years, many years, we mostly read for people and the situations that they brought to us. But we've always had this idea that, certain things that are more abstract, world issues, world politics, religious issues, we could also read on too, and that we had. And so, of course, that's what happened when we did our readings on Brexit. And we were so surprised that we literally have
I know.
nearly
Amazing amount
900
of
views on our Brexit videos combined.
And by the way, for people who missed the end of our live stream on Thursday or
Look at
missed
that.
the live stream, he was on my card.
I know.
We ran, people left the room early, so we had some time to kill. So we kind of did a brief reading on where our country would be next year in 2020. We just tried to do an objective reading on that. And if you're interested in that, did you cut that?
Well, I haven't done that yet. I'll
Okay.
be working on that later today, but that should be up as its own separate little video.
Yep.
It'll probably be less than 10 minutes long. And we hope you all check that out because you may not have been in the chat room when it played or whatever. But we're hoping that, like our Brexit ones, that will be a popular one too, and that we might revisit those questions.
Well, we absolutely have to revisit those questions. It was just
Absolutely.
a very brief look, and I can't say it was an uber positive thing. We got there, so it is a little concerning, but it is something we'll just have to look at again. Hi, Smiling Soul.
Hi,
I
Smiling
do have
Soul.
you on the list as well, so you are there now. Good to see you in the chat again. And so Balkis, you're very welcome. And Jacob, you're up. I can't remember if you threw a question out there already, but if you could just repeat it for us.
And we're going to let Mommy pose with Sunny, the Sun Man, who is here to take up all the available room and possibly some of the oxygen too. Hello there, Sun Man. Aw, your eyes are a
He's
little
been my
weepy today.
companion these last few days. Take a nap and he cuddles up in my arms. He is just such a sweetheart. I mean, literally cuddles into my head, my hair. He just loves that. And I don't mind it too much either.
Okay, Jacob is getting their question to us and has pointed out something that's okay for us to know, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I don't have my other monitor, otherwise I could scroll back quicker for your
While
question.
you're doing that, Jacob, I'm just going to go through the list again so people know where they're at. We have Josephine next after Jacob. We have Edric, KC, Jay, Masonic Elite, Cappy, and Smiling Soul. And I'm pretty sure I've got everybody today. I feel bad about missing somebody in the stream last Thursday, so if they come back, I owe them big apology.
Can you scroll back on the messages?
Oh, hey, are we actually live streaming on Thursday, Thanksgiving night?
Well, that is a good question. Do you want to take a break?
No. We are
No.
going to be here. We're not doing an extra hour or anything, but we will be here on Thanksgiving evening because we're planning a nice Thanksgiving at home, so why not?
Okay, the question has come through.
Okay. Okay, how do they see you? Okay.
Okay, so we could do 3 cards. How do men see you? How do women see you? And how do your friends see you? Do you
Well,
want
let
to
me
do
take
something
a
like
look
that?
at this here again, because how do others view me in my work environment?
Oh, there's somebody you need to say something to.
Oh, Violet Tan, there you are.
Violet Han, we are so glad you joined, and we are so incredibly sorry we missed you last Thursday.
Yep.
We don't know what happened, so we wanted to apologize that we missed you in the reading, and we hope we will be able to get to you today.
We will get to you
Absolutely.
today one way or another.
One way or the other.
But the list is a little long, but I promise you we will get to you.
Masonic, most of the time when we have had any kind of Thanksgiving dinner here for ourselves or even with some family, it usually tends to be a bit earlier in the day, so we may be a little sleepy with that tryptophan pumpkin pie poisoning.
Turkey.
But we will be here at 7 o'clock next Thursday on Thanksgiving Eve.
Okay, so let me look at this question again and see if I understand
Thank you, Violet Ann.
It is mostly about your work environment.
And how do men, women feel about them?
I don't see men on here, but okay.
Previously, they said
Oh,
men.
okay. So is that in the work environment or?
That's what I
Okay.
understood. It was the males and females in your work environment.
Why don't we do your cards?
Alrighty, so I am going to use my deck.
Oh, is that the dame?
That's Dame Fortune. I'm not going to use the significator. Yeah. So we're just, did you decide how our reading is going to go?
I thought you said the 3. I was going with you.
Ah, okay, very good. Yes, work
And
environment,
we
thank
can
you.
pull a 4th card if we need to. And I've got
Searching
the-
T wants to be on the list too.
Oh, Searching T, welcome to the stream. I'll get you on
And
there.
Casey has given his spot to Violet Ann, and we'll go at the end. So Casey is moved to the end first, and then Searching T.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Casey. Kelelel. Kelelel.
You're very nice, KC. Thank you. You're going to the end? Well, you do stick with us, and we really appreciate that and enjoy you being here. You add a lot to our show. And I love your readings on Twitter. They're fantastic.
They are so beautiful. Just your format is just awesome, Kel. So thank you. Okay, I have shuffled.
And I have 2. Let's do that. Okay.
Okay, so we thought that we would throw 3 cards at first, and one would be the men, so that's this one.
Right.
One would be the women, so that's that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then one would be friends, with the possibility of throwing another card, plus we will also
Did
do
we
a
want to
Lenormand.
do the work environment in general? Because I think that was a big part of the question.
So this one doesn't apply? Or what
Oh,
are you
no,
saying?
another card I said
Oh, I see.
for the work environment
that's
in
now
general.
then,
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
We're
well,
just doing it.
okay.
So the first card, men may feel possibly undecided. We have justice reversed. And I get the feeling like it's possible that men, or this is saying that their more or less countenance is not necessarily a just one, and that maybe
There you go.
when they look at you, or possibly many people, or certainly maybe other women, they don't necessarily look at you in a fair way. They might look at you in an opinionated way.
You have read the Banshee's mind on this one. I feel that they're not necessarily treating you fairly, like that they take you seriously enough is a possibility. I mean, that's one possibility. Or there is some disrespect there. It just does seem like there's a lack of balance, and there's definitely unfairness in some way. And the second card was women.
Go ahead. You can say it.
Well, this is an interesting one. It is the Ace of Coins reversed. And so I'm not sure if women value you as well. However, maybe they're also feeling that you are being treated unfairly in some way, possibly even salary-wise or material-wise. In other words, you're not getting paid enough for your efforts.
Yeah, I sort of get that too. That maybe they sort of see a discrepancy with the monetary thing. That's probably mostly what I'm getting from that one. Or there is a possibility that they sort of, in general, maybe are not happy with you in the workplace, maybe because you're some sort of level of competition to them. I'm not sure what that would be about, but I get the feeling like they're just, it's sort of an iffy feeling there too for me. What do you think, Banch?
Okay. Well, I agree. Isn't that what I said?
I said something kind of different.
Oh, well, I maybe, but I just feel that there is an undervaluation going on here.
Yeah, it could just be undervaluation in general in terms of how people are adequately compensated for the jobs they do.
Well, it might also, I do see that. And I do see that possibly it's skill related, is that they, don't value the skill sets that you bring to the position or job. And the Six of Coins, this is for the friends. Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily apply to the workplace.
So what do you have to say? I'm going to let you go with that one.
Six of Coins reversed. I'm going to say that sometimes your friends want more out of you
than maybe you're willing to give.
And maybe they might feel like you are in a better position and should be more generous to them. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but they may feel that way. So I get the feeling like maybe sometimes with your friends, they're sort of a little bit on the fair weather side, like they come around sometimes, but then sometimes, they're not really there for you always.
Yeah, I don't know if sometimes you have the feeling that, you're taken advantage of a little bit by them, or even maybe that you worry that you're not giving enough of yourself to them. And don't do that. You got to have time for you too. That's a given. And then finally, the final thing for the workplace.
Well, there's a lot of good in your workplace, but yet there's still a feeling like there's a lot more, or at least somewhat more, you wish would happen. I mean, it's sort of like talking about saying, like, this place is almost perfect, but.
But I want more, or I expect more, or maybe you ask, is this all there is? It looks as though your thirst for adventure or fulfillment has not been completely achieved here.
And then the other thing too is that probably what this card tells me too is that You're probably a lot better for this place than they deserve it to be. That maybe you're really more suited for something else, But with the economy being what it is, we all have to kind of go where we can go. But I get the feeling like you're not as well suited for this job. You're really, I mean, you're suited for it, but you're oversuited. You're overqualified, or there's something that is a better match and maybe better reward for you and better feelings amongst coworkers.
This is an interesting combination of Lenormand cards I pulled for you. It is the Crossroads and it is the Clover. And the Clover is usually luck and fortune and fate. And it might indicate that you are at a crossroads with things right now. And maybe, once you make a decision on what road you truly want to travel, if this is the final be all end all place for you or there's something else, it will be lucky and fortunate decision for you. So whether you choose to stay or whether you choose to move on, it seems like you have to cross that crossroads and make up your mind. And once you do, things will start really falling into place.
Yeah, like I don't know the readings the same way, but I feel like if you seek it, you will find luck. That's what this is telling me, is that you probably just have to push yourself out there a little bit and see if you can find that luck that's there for you.
Yep. Well, I hope that helped. Do let us know.
All right.
So who did we read for?
That was Jacob.
Yep, that was Jacob. Okay, Jacob. That's right. I'm sorry. I was just looking at my list and I got suddenly confused where I am, which is silly. Josephine.
You're welcome, Jacob.
You're very welcome, Jacob.
Come back again sometime.
Absolutely. Good to see you back. Hey, Josephine. Are you with us?
Well, I believe they are.
And so
there we go.
So after Josephine is going to be Edric, Violet Ann, Jay, Masonic Elite, Cappy, Smiling Soul, and KC.
Did we get somebody?
I don't think so, but if I did, no, I'm pretty sure we're okay. Did I miss anybody? Because I don't think I have.
Okay, let's answer Josephine's question.
Okay. Writing, take me somewhere in my career. That sounds like a yes/no.
All right.
With extras. Oh, Searching T.
Searching T was on the list, right.
So, let me take a look.
Possibly
Okay.
before KC or right after, I guess. I don't know. One or the other.
Well, yeah, I think that's true.
KC's pretty flexible. Maybe they'll let Searching T go first.
And then KC. Thank
do
you,
it that
Searching T, for speaking up, because, yeah, I
Appreciate that.
somehow missed that. I don't know how.
Okay.
But you're pretty much where you needed to be on the list.
Singing and writing. Singing and writing. Go ahead. And they like the kitty.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, that does sound interesting, Violet Ann. Did you read that?
Sure.
So that's a Facebook group, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be cool. Thank you.
Mr. O does a little bit more with managing Facebook. I do the Twitter, but I pop in and out of there as well, so absolutely.
Kitty doesn't want to let go
Okay,
of you.
I don't get the camera on this. I want you guys to see this. Lovingly biting my shirt and holding my arm fast in place. I think he's trying to tell me I want all of you.
Well, okay.
He is not touching my flesh, but he is holding on tight. We used to have these wrestling games, me and him. You shuffled, right?
I did.
I'm going to use this hand because he's got my other hand locked in place. Where he would grab something so tight and I would try to wrestle it out from him. I think that's what he wants me to do right now with my shirt. Let's see. Nope, he let it go. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, there's a good card.
Yep, that is. Not so much.
No. Okay, at this time, the question looks like it's more leaning towards no. So uh, it's not to say that it's a positive no, it's just saying right now it doesn't look that way. And of course, this is a snapshot in time. It could
Right.
be that just there are some circumstances that are interfering with it at this time.
I
But
think
the other cards that are here, did you want to say something? Go ahead.
I did. Because, okay, I do want to talk about the cards that are here. We did get the Ace of Cups for you, but the Nine of Swords popped up, and also
The Three
the
of
Three
Wands.
of Wands reversed. And the Three of Wands reversed is like current plans are on a trajectory for failure right now. But what that's telling me is that you need to examine what could be possibly holding you back. There needs to be some self-reflection and thought, maybe a change in some direction or focus with your writing and singing is in order, in order to make things right again. And also the 9 of Swords is telling me really clearly that you should not get wrapped up in disappointments. If there are setbacks and rejections, writers get rejection letters all the time, for example. Don't let it stop you. Don't let that stop you. Just reevaluate and think of how you can make it better.
Well, I'm feeling slightly different from the Banshee here. I sort of feel that while that could be true about the Nine of Swords, but I also feel too like maybe it just says there are some distractions from you focusing right now, and some of that may be other people's problems that you
Okay.
are too much being involved in, and that maybe you need to have more parameters about how much you'll let that be going on for you. But the other thing is with the Three of Wands, I don't always think of that as necessarily plans are set to take you to failure so much as I do think that maybe it just says there's something that's really delaying or bogging that down. And it could be actually that the process does need to be relooked at and thought about again. It seems to me like there's a sense of having investment going on, but it's just having delays or obstacles. And once again, I'm seeing the obstacles possibly being over involvement or being caught up in other people's dramas or problems. And sometimes you can't just say sorry, I don't want to hear it. If it's your mom or your best friend, having severe times, you need to be there for them. But in general, if there are too many people letting you distract them, that's not going to help you.
Well, interestingly enough, when I drew with the Lenormand, well, I like what he said. So if it does resonate more with you, Josephine, by all means, consider what either of us are saying and what resonates more. But I'm going to toss this Lenormand into the equation and see how Mr. O feels about this, but I'll tell you how I feel about it. You got the sixth, which is a cutting instrument, and the letter. And to me, God, does that almost smack like a rejection letter? You know what I mean? So it's something cutting, it's something that cuts you down. And so that's why I'm feeling, now more about my interpretation that do not let these kinds of disappointments discourage you.
Okay, I see that.
And there could be something else here to what he's saying, too. In other words, if I went with what he was talking about, this could also indicate that, maybe there has been some sudden news from family that has distracted you or people that are close to you that is pulling you away from your goals. And so, you need to consider that, too, as what is pulling you away.
I would mostly agree with that. I can't really add too much more to that. We have a couple more folks to add to the
Okay,
list.
I will. Thank you for.
Brittany Devane and Butterfly A again. Hello again to you.
Okay, I think I'm going to make a Brittany A. No, Brittany D and Butterfly A. Hi, Butterfly. We have a
Thank you.
long list.
Thank you, Masonic, but our lives are not always very together. We're actually in the last year or two of our employment.
Oh my gosh.
And if we make it, it'll probably be nearly a miracle because I just sort of feel at times that there's a lot of forces arrayed against me. And I don't know how Banshee would put that.
Well, you know what? We may look cool as cucumbers here, but we're real people with real lives, and we can have some messes like the rest of the world. Let's just say.
Our children and grandchildren are, messed up, and we have to help them out too. I
Oh,
mean, they're not messed up
wait a
themselves, but we
second.
have to be there for them. So we have a lot on our plate.
Monster, if you're listening, we did not mean that. So, at any rate,
I threw my son under the bus, and he's our producer.
I know, don't do that. Well, with Butterfly A and Brittany, I'm not so sure we should add more to the list because we're already at 241 and we've only gone through how many readings so far? 3. So we're going to have to watch who we add from here on and say we can't guarantee that they will be read.
Yeah,
I'll just put a question after Butterfly.
Yeah, absolutely. The cat is really chilling. This cat is incredible. I don't know if I often feel that cats, ever since I was a younger person, literally in my teens, and I started meditating and I started working with cards, that the cats I had were always attracted to that energy, and they would just come and chill. Like you say, we didn't call it chilling back then, but they would just sort of show up and want to be there. If I did special ceremonies, lit candles, did a little chanting, whatever, there's the cat. There's the cat. So it is kind of interesting. You are welcome, Josephine.
Josephine, you're very welcome. And, check in with us again. Because, like I said, tarot is just a snapshot in time. Energies shift and change. So, we'll see what the future holds as time goes on. And Edric, are you with us? You are not. You are up.
There's 1 or 2 little videos featuring the cats slightly, sort of, on our YouTube channel, Brittany. So if you find them, I think one is nap time for kitties or something like that. It's about 30 seconds long. They were just kittens back then.
Oh, yeah.
We've had about 5.5 years.
So,
general reading.
So Edric is a general, okay.
All right.
And after Edric, again, will be Violet Ann, Jay, Masonic Elite, Cappy, Smiling Soul, Searching T, Casey, Brittany, and Butterfly.
Okay, I'm doing the general reading with my Dame Fortune deck again, and this time I'm going to put a significator out there because I kind of like it. It's very astrological oriented. So I'm just going to leave that here. They are about 5.5, maybe a little bit over 5.5 years. They're all from the same litter. They're all siblings.
Even though they look completely different from each other.
They go through varying stages of being very lovey or very mean to each other.
They're not really mean, but they do get a little rough play.
A little feisty with each other,
yeah. That's all.
Jealous,
they're
maybe.
so adorable together, really. We've had some cats that did not get along, and that's never fun.
General?
Okay. I'm having difficulties because of where he sits, but we'll work around him.
He's looking almost right into the camera. He's like, I got you. They like to sleep more often around her, but in the morning when it's food time, there's one in particular who will be bugging me to get up and feed him. It's usually anywhere from 5:30 on in the morning, maybe earlier, but I can resist only so much. How many cards are we pulling? 3?
Oh, yeah.
The general reading?
Yes.
All right. So the first card is the knave or knight. No, that's a page, right? Knaves are pages.
Correct.
This is like the Page of Wands. It's reversed. This one tells me that, a message, some communication. I don't know that it's missing so much as that maybe it's garbled, that you're not understanding it. I get a feeling of confusion about some message you may have received or that you're waiting on. It may be about a project you were hoping to start on, and maybe there's some sort of delay or confusion about how it actually works out.
Yeah. Well, let me just add to that. Okay, so right now too, I feel that, yeah, there might be some news coming to you that will be upsetting about a project or plan that you had going. I don't think it's earth-shaking myself. No.
But I feel like it's not so much a delay as maybe just a confusing message of some sort. That's what I'm just feeling.
Okay, it could be.
Now the next card, this is kind of interesting because like all the other major arcana cards, it is not labeled.
Yeah.
But it's clearly it's death and it's reversed. And death reverse seems to suggest mostly a lot of inertia and stagnation, a lot of slowing down. It is not so much about changes or bad things happening. It may be more about the inability to affect some changes or the inability to get yourself moving on a project. And so I'm wondering, like I said, with the first card, there was some confusion about a project. So maybe I'm wondering if this is a project that you just can't feel wholeheartedly about. And so there's a sluggishness about where you're going with that.
Well, I feel too that it's kind of telling me that it's kind of status quo right now. There's not a lot of movement going on, not a lot of changes afoot. You know, that could be good, that could be bad if you're looking for something new. But it looks as for right now, there's not a lot of movement or energy towards that.
Alrighty. And then the final card we have is the Three of Cups.
And it's reversed.
And Sassy wants his tail, or Sonny wants his tail in front of my face. And he's sniffing at my tea. You don't like tea, it's got lemon in it. What are you going to do? He's going to jump.
Oh, no.
He's about to jump. There he goes. Watch, everybody. He's going to jump. He's going to jump.
There.
Boom. He jumped into his little tree. Stay there.
Oh, my goodness.
He probably won't.
He won't.
Three of Cups reverse.
Okay, so basically it's saying to, hey, you might have to tone it down a bit, with New Year's and different celebrations going on. It shows maybe just a little bit too much in excess, whether it's food, whether it's drink. There might be some, some little excesses that maybe you'll have to make some New Year's resolutions for.
If it's not that, it could just also be saying, too, that some of the happiness of the holiday time or the New Year is a little muted.
Could be lost on you.
Lost on you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe you'll have to cancel going to a particular celebration for some conflicts in your schedule, something like that.
It seems to me the focus right now is related to matters, maybe affairs of the heart. Or if you are having some health issues, that could be indicated here as well. But the things probably would be looking up for you as far as health issues go. I would suspect, because the tree is about good health and growth, and it's coupled with a really positive card here, the heart. So I think that overall, even if there is these overindulgences or maybe letting caution go to the wind a little bit here, you really are on solid footing. And if this is about a relationship, I think that there's some strength and vibrancy in any relationships you form in the present.
Right. It could just
or
be
that you're
true
involved in.
that what I'm feeling is with those cards, that's a strong image there. And therefore, the card indicating stagnation, this is not at all normal to you. And it could just be some result of overload during, the holiday times, where just everything just sort of gets to be a little bit too much.
Overwhelming, right.
Overwhelming,
yeah. Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Tis the season to be jolly or not.
Be careful.
Because a lot of people,
and all that.
get depressed during this time as well. So good luck, Edric, and good reading for you again.
Thank you.
We are on Violet Ann. You are up thanks to KC, who let you have his space.
We're going to do your cards this time, I think.
Okay, we'll get them. So if you could repeat your question, Violet Ann, we'll be happy to move ahead with you. You're welcome.
You are welcome. Don't forget to check us out on our Facebook page. We have a card for every day, usually pulled on the night before and posted. Our twofold meaning, and that's on Facebook, TFT Tarot for Today.
Violet Ann.
Oh, don't make us give your space away.
I would not want to do that again. There you are.
Okay. A love
okay,
card.
So it's a present relationship. Okay.
Yeah, and I recall that was sort of mentioned before, I think.
Okay.
Maybe. I can't scroll up on my monitor, but I think I remember seeing
So
that.
you just want to know where things are headed pretty much, Violet Ann? I'll let you shuffle. I think I have a reading for that. I'm going to kind of combine two readings here. So the first card will be the relationship at present. The next one will be your partner's attitudes towards you and where things are headed.
Oh, should I cut?
Oh, yeah. Okay. This one. Okay, well, this is going to be an interesting one. Hold on to your hat. So the relationship at present, and it's interesting, I drew this particular card. It's the Knight of Swords upright. And just on a whim here, are we dealing with somebody who is an air sign?
If not that, I also feel too like, because you mentioned it's at the beginning of the relationship, is like, yes, it just got off to kind of a charging sort, and maybe there are some questions about what this means, because I get the feeling like maybe the person is a little bit on the forceful side, is sort of just like sort of moved in and is just trying to, move it along, and it may be that that's not exactly your style, or maybe it is, but it's good for you to ask that.
Well, hi, Gina. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We will get to you. I'm going to put you at the bottom of the list and hope we can get through everybody today. So,
thanks for joining us, Gina, too.
And I will update the list before long, so you'll know where you're at.
Okay, so this is their feelings about her?
No, this is their feelings towards you. And it's interesting. It is the Devil card reversed, which I seem to remember getting this particular card a lot in relationship spreads and reversed like this lately. And I get the feeling, at least for me, that this kind of indicates that this person feels very liberated by you in some ways. They feel a lot stronger for knowing you, that you give them a lot of, you make them feel free from things that maybe have bogged them down in their lives or brought them down in their lives. They feel much better.
Well, in this particular deck, which I'm not very familiar with, it's called Challenge. And so that's kind of interesting, because I sort of feel what the card tells me is that this person thinks you help them overcome their restrictions,
right,
or you don't give them any restrictions. And so that's a part of that attraction or that pull towards you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And the Four of Swords.
And that's an interesting point now that you mentioned are Pisces, because Pisces, I hate to generalize, but a lot of times Pisces do feel like they're dealing with restrictions, they're dealing with inhibitions. Their sign literally is about institutional qualities that maybe are holding you back or are limiting. So it could be that this person does feel that your presence helps unlimit them in some ways. So what's this card?
Oh, that's the Four of Swords reversed, and that one is where things are headed. Well,
looks like activity is going to gear up. You mentioned that maybe there's some delays there, which I didn't really see with the first card. The Knight of Swords sort of is plunging in there, but maybe that's their nature, but maybe that's not what they're going to do. But the last card, the Four of Swords, sort of says like maybe that is what they're going to do. Maybe it's just a matter of getting the communication together. Maybe they need to be more confident in how you've made them feel. The lack of restrictions or the sense of freedom or flow that you give them. Because the Four of Swords is telling me that it's sort of like, wow, a return to activity. Like maybe this person really will suddenly kind of come alive and be a more forceful character like I'm seeing in the first card.
Well, I'm going to throw a cautionary note out there, because it's unclear to me which way this movement is going. So I'm going to see what the Lenormand has to add to this, but because it could be movement, but it could be movement away potentially. So, although I don't see that necessarily with the other cards. So I do want to see if we have a better picture here.
Uh-oh. No.
Well, it's a mixed bag. So
It's a
we've got
mixed
the
bag.
star and we've got the snake. And I would say that, this could possibly indicate to me that there is, some deceptive behavior going on here. Not necessarily from this person, but maybe somebody else connected to this person. And that's what I'm wondering about, if there's maybe a third party involvement here in some way.
My
And
psycho
that could
senses
dampen your hopes a little bit here.
My psycho senses are telling me that maybe one of the reasons why they've been a little bit slow is maybe they're not totally through or over a previous relationship, and so possibly in that regard it's a little snaky that they haven't fessed up about that. I'm sort of getting the feeling of that is a possibility there, but I also feel that with the star, that tells me that something about you really engages them, and so maybe the thing is that you have to be honest with them and they need to be honest with you, and maybe they could move beyond that relationship. It may be what is holding them back, what challenges them. I don't feel like it's an ongoing relationship, but I sort of feel like maybe there's something going on that keeps, maybe there's an obligation there of some sort. Maybe the other person uses guilt or something, and hopefully it's nothing like, true obligations, like maybe there's a child involved that the other person has and that there's a responsibility towards. I don't know, just like getting some mixed feelings with
Yeah,
that.
I do sense a third party involvement in some way, which almost makes me wonder if that's, talking about, we had the devil card in here reversed, and that liberation feeling. He needs to remove themselves from, some other situation.
I'm just wondering if they're kind of held up on a previous relationship or sense of something that they just can't totally move beyond, or they can't totally commit to moving ahead.
Well, Violet Ann, I think it's leading me to tell you that maybe it's time to have this person put their cards on the table. Maybe you need to tell them how you really feel and vice versa, and try to pin them down. That's my best advice with what I'm seeing here.
Violet Ann says that their obligation is to their work.
Oh.
And that's kind of interesting.
Which could be interesting. It's not really a work-related card, but, who's to say that work isn't that third party? Because it influences our lives so much. It's hard to separate us from our jobs anymore. It's difficult.
Is it possible that there would be some choice where they might have to choose their work because of some benefit or obligation over working towards another relationship? I'm sort of getting that feeling now that you've mentioned that. Well, hopefully you can work that out. This is the time of year where sometimes people find joy together.
It's true. Sometimes it makes or breaks things too. That's just the nature of this time of year. But by all means, keep in touch and let us know how things are working out. And we're going to move on to Jay Walker. Hey, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
I know you got to be still out there.
Hopefully you are.
Oh, there you are. That was fast, Jay. Oh, you've got a question about the animals. That's awesome. Well, I think we have to use my deck again then. It's funny, I don't have a dog tarot. I have plenty of cat tarots. I have some dog oracle decks, which are kind of nice. But I do not have a dog tarot. And I know there must be one out there.
I want to pull a random card, Jay, just as I think about animals with cute names like Rex and Caitlin. I don't get that. Dogs should have names like Cooper. My mom has a dog named Cooper.
Cooper is the craziest dog. It's a pug beagle mix, and it's got this overbite, and so it always looks like it's staring you down and has kind of a I hate to say it, like a mob mentality. Like, you talking to me? You talking to me? He's got this really rough, gruff look about him.
Well, I said I was going to pull a random card, and I pulled the reversed 8 of Cups, and so I'm thinking, these dogs really have come to expect you to always bring something good for them. snacks. And I know that's most dogs, but I think these dogs really
Oh.
expect that from you for some reason.
You need to shuffle. I'm sorry. I
So
cut
that's
them.
just a little tidbit there. Smiling soul.
Actually, I would look at that one a little bit differently, Jay, and I would just say that those dogs seem to always want you around. That
Yeah.
they want you to return, basically,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
The return, right. They're going to be doing what Sunny does to her and just grabs your arm or your leg.
Well,
Hopefully.
that's at least what we initially have. I think we just throw 3 on this one and see what we get about the canines.
Oh, really? Yes. Cooper.
Well, I can't understand why we got all 3 reversals here, Jay, but we did. You have the Queen of Wands reversed, the Ace of Wands reversed,
Ugh.
and the Knight of Cups reversed. And I think it's interesting here because I'm going to assume that Rex and what's the other?
Caitlin?
Caitlin, male and female, and it looks like they are represented here with their own attitudes, wouldn't you say?
Interesting.
So the Caitlin seems to be a very tough cookie in a way. I don't know if that's true or not, but I sense that that Caitlin has attitude. Maybe wants to dominate or get all the attention, perhaps.
Gina Clean is excited about the Ace of Wands. We'll have to get to that in a moment.
Yep.
I would agree with that, that there's maybe mostly just a feisty personality with Caitlin is what I'm thinking. And or the possibility that sometimes she seems like she really loves you and then she'll do something really bizarre like bite you a little bit or leave a present you don't want.
Pee on your shoe.
But I'm going to go ahead with, what was the other dog's name? Rex.
Rex.
Good name for a dog, actually. And the Knight of Cups, I think Rex is very loving dog, but I think sometimes
Needy.
needy, maybe that's a good word for
Yep.
it. Yeah. And or variable, just a variable emotional personality for a dog.
Yeah, and so the Ace of Wands reversed is kind of interesting here. It seems like maybe more has to be done to build this relationship. How would you read that one in this case? And it's between them. Or is it because maybe these two seem to be fighting for your attention in a way?
Well, that could be too, but I'm also wondering too if that you have circumstances where you don't see them incredibly often, like maybe you only see them once a month. I don't know what would be regular for you, but I get the feeling like maybe they're really have pent up energy, and when they see you then it's maybe an overload. And your grandmother, I don't know how old she is, but maybe she can't really exercise them the way they need to be if they're a younger sort of dog. And we have found that out with dogs and cats, is that
Yep.
they really need to get their work
Oh,
out
yeah.
once in a while. So maybe that you will be called upon to bring more energizing to their lives by, offering to take them out for a walk when you're visiting your grandmother or something like that.
Well, I think that's really good. I think you are a dog whisperer here.
I am in a way. You knew I grew up with dogs, and I really have
He grew-
a
well,
good
we
rapport
both-
with most dogs.
We both did, but I only had one dog, so I don't have a lot of experience with dogs.
But
But
my family has had dogs.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to relate a cute little story for
Uh-oh.
Kel about my mom's dog, Cooper.
I've got
When
to
she
do Leonard
first got Cooper, our granddaughter was really young, and we took her up to visit my mom, and she was in love with Cooper. And on the way back, she said, "I love Cooper. I don't want my Seffy anymore."
her cat, and
Seffy
that was
her
like, oh
cat.
man,
And that broke
don't
my
say
heart when I heard that.
that.
Like, don't say that. But guess what? It's years later, and Seffy is still alive and kicking. But I don't think that Seffy's necessarily become any more her favorite. So whatever.
Well, I
However,
hope these dogs are not moving out of your sphere. I've got the rider, and I've got
Thank you.
the clouds here, which is kind of depressing. Sort of depression or moodiness. And the rider, oftentimes as news, there might be some negative news coming about the dogs, or the fact that writer is also about movement and change a little bit too in that regard. And so I'm getting the feeling that maybe it's talking about some change or movement that could be disappointing to you in some way with the dogs. I hope your grandma's not moving them away or anything like that.
Well, the last comments indicate that Jay does see them more
Oh,
in the
you don't
summer.
see them that much. Okay.
So it could be that you'll just have to make the most of it. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know that I see grandmas moving or anything like that, but I do get the feeling like maybe there is a change coming, and it might bring a little bit of sadness. So I don't know if those dogs need health concerns looked into. I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly what I'm feeling there. It just could be that they really are happier when you're around because you bring a lot of pep to their life. And I don't know if
Well,
there are other grandchildren or other people that visit, but I maybe I'm almost getting the feeling like there aren't. So like you are a special person to them.
Well, Jay, I want to thank you again for always asking interesting questions, keeping us on our toes,
Stretching the limits.
stretching the bounds of how we read and who we read for. So thanks again, and we really appreciate that. Hey, and Masonic Elite, you are up next.
We hope you're still with us.
I'm sure you probably are. And it's always great to have you here as well, Jay. And Gina, I think this is your first visit to our stream, so thank you for being here as well. Really appreciate that. Okay. You see 911. Okay. That's right. You commented on Mr. O's video, I believe, about that. It's denied disability. My family can't keep up my YouTube. Oh. So should we do let's do a general reading for you, Masonic, and I'm not sure why 9/11 is coming up. 9 is like my number, really. It's a number of wisdom and sometimes completion and endings of cycles. And 11, of course, is a very positive number as well, very high magical number.
In our culture, 911 and possibly in other
Yes.
cultures is sort of like warning or danger or help is needed. So
That's true.
So it could be literally at face value that there's somehow a call to your conscious and subconscious that there's a danger element or that you need help. And I feel you've expressed that pretty well. We're going to try to see if there's anything.
Let's see what stands out in a general reading for you right now. We're going to throw 3 cards, and then, of course, I'll throw some Lenormand for you. And let's see what we get. And next time we can use yours. Sorry, I grabbed mine
No,
again.
that's fine. We used mine several times in a row previously,
Well, okay.
so I don't think there's any order.
So as we said, we will actually be live streaming Thanksgiving evening, Thursday, our usual night for broadcasting. And we have plenty of things afoot for the future. So look to we'll have announcements, I'm sure, for all of you subscribers on YouTube about upcoming video presentations. I will be doing another soul story in December, and if you haven't looked at my soul story yet, the one I did last month, it is on YouTube.
And they're quite good, so do check them out. The first initial one was probably the longest. Future ones will not be so long, but it's a really wonderful story about her mother and her aunt, her favorite aunt, and also of all of her aunts, she had a number of them. Her Aunt Mary was my favorite aunt as well. And there was such a synchronicity between these two sisters.
Do you have the other camera up?
I can put it up.
Oh, I'm wearing my Aunt Mary's amethyst ring today. I like to keep her close to me. She meant a world to me. But also, just the way they left this earth is a very fascinating story of synchronistic moments that it's just amazing to me, that I to experience all of that. So I hope you do check it out. It can give you hope in
So,
times of
for
adversity.
Masonic, we pulled 3 cards.
Yes, and they're all, in a way, they're all court cards, and they are all reversed Masonic, so we're just going to tell you that right from the
Knight of
get-go.
Cups, the Knight of Wands, which is also reversed, and then the Page of Cups. And court cards can sometimes mean specific persons. We're not really hard and fast with that. A lot of times we also feel that those represent personality traits or feelings or situations that are going on in your own life or somebody pretty close to you, perhaps.
I do feel here, though, Masonic, that this, as far as a 911 goes, emergency, I would say this is kind of picking it up for me a little bit, some of the turmoil that you might be going through right now. The Knight of Cups reversed is showing, that there is some definite things hitting you on a emotional level. Plus, you also have the Page of Cups reversed. These 2 cup cards are saying emotionally you're feeling pretty knocked down off your feet right now. And the Knight of Wands reversed is indicating that, it has to do with maybe business enterprise or growth, something that is just not happening for you. And I do sense your distress, and this is kind of showing this to us.
Right. Page of Cups to me reversed really speaks to a person who feels or a situation that revolves around being disenchanted to some degree or feeling like there was something lost or something that's strayed away from your life, not feeling connected to certain realm of emotionality that was more comforting. The Knight of Cups itself reverse says that maybe there's matters coming and going that will be affecting you emotionally, people leaving your life, people bringing hardships to your life, or people trying to make you help them with their hardships. The Knight of Wands, I sort of get that feeling that there are things moving from your life that pertain more to what you felt you could trust, that there's things that connoted trust to your life and now they're wary, and you're feeling, really like there is a sense that you're having some problems of thinking where the hope is at.
Well, and all I can say at the present time, I pulled the letter card and the book card together, which is very interesting to me. There is news or something that is going to be coming to you, either that will help you in some way. It's something that you need to know, most definitely. And, or this is also telling me this could be a letter or news concerning some studies. If you've been thinking of, getting some education, that's a possibility as well. But I'm sensing that there's some news that is going to come to you through a letter, or that you have to possibly send out a letter, send out a communication to find out something that you really need to know that will help you.
I work differently with Lenormand, and what I think is that this is saying that something will be found out, but it may be found out by your own sense of investigation, and that maybe you're going to come across something that you had actually already set aside, is what I'm thinking. Like maybe something you wrote or something that you prepared or planned for, and then maybe you put it aside somehow. Maybe it is literally a letter stuck in the pages of a book or something like that. It's just something that has slipped your mind momentarily. If it's not a physical thing, it may be just a figurative thing that has slipped your mind momentarily, and maybe it's either a matter of searching or meditating and pondering on that. But I think there's a clue coming to you or a suggestion coming to you on something that will be more helpful. And yes, we understand that, because a lot of people do come to us too for comfort, and
that's just exactly what I was going to say.
Shielding yourself is important,
Masonic, that you need to, the comfort and care that you give to others right now, I think you need to focus that on yourself, and I think you need to give yourself a little loving and attention so that you can get through this difficult time. And by all means, reach out to those around you that you can get support from. And I know if you've been leaning heavily, as you say, on your parents and whatnot, maybe there's at least somebody that you can talk to that can at least help you sort things out.
And there's also an interesting conversation going on in our chat room
Yes.
with Gina
I've been
about
watching.
Twin Flame, which is kind of interesting because I think we had some questions about Twin Flame recently,
go
or
back.
I saw them
Yes.
on my Facebook page, and it was kind of interesting. I didn't really understand that much about Twin Flame, so now I understand a little bit more. You are welcome, Masonic. I really do hope that helped you. Please feel free
And
to come
do
back
check
again.
back with us.
Remember too that
we're always
tarot
here.
is a snapshot in time, and although things may have looked exactly the way you would have liked, it's always possible that this knowledge will inform you to the point where you can maybe see another path for you to take, or at least understand the situations and maybe come to a better overall disposition about it.
Hey, Cappy, you are next.
Happy lady, if you are still with us, we are interested in doing your reading now.
And to go back through the list to let everybody know who's left, we have Cappy. Then there's Smiling Soul, Searching T, KC, Brittany, and Butterfly and Gina.
And then Gina. Whoa, full house.
Yes.
We got 45 minutes, folks.
And that's it.
Let's
We're going to cut it off there because I think we'll probably just about fit everybody
in. Finish any more in.
But if we have time, I always tell people to hang with us, but because you never know. Some readings we can fly through. Oh, Ave Maria. I can add you to the list, Ave, but
we'll see. Yeah,
we'll have to see if we can fit you in today or not.
Don't worry, Searching T, you are on the list.
After Gina, there's no guarantee. So, who is on the list?
Searching T was wondering.
Searching T. You are absolutely on the list.
Happy lady, what are the intentions? Let's do this reading.
Okay.
And we're back to my Dame Fortune deck.
Yeah, stay tuned to videos I will be producing soon about some of the more obscure decks that we have that are very interesting. And also we might just do special series on, there are some people out there who have done a number of different oracular devices. Monty Farber and Amy Zerner come to mind. And so we might do a video on their collection of divination tools. Okay, for this reading, which I think we'll do the... Okay, the relationship at present, is this somebody you... Okay, the man you love.
But they're at a distance currently.
Oh, a distance currently. Okay. Okay. Let's do a general look at things, and then what the intentions of the person is and where things are headed. Do I need to cut or shuffle?
No, we already did that. Go ahead and read.
Oh, I'm at the reading point. Sorry, got myself distracted. See what happens?
Pay attention, Banshee.
Okay. Well.
What's with the reverse cards? We're in another
now we used his deck, and we've got all reversals from his deck. So let's see what we have here, though. So this is where things are right now. Maybe because you are at a distance from each other, things are a little bit unconventional or unusual at the moment. They're not really set in a traditional type of relationship at the present time is what I see.
Right. I mean, you say this is the man you love, and I suspect that, of course, they love you. But right now is a very unconventional time for you. And you mentioned the distance. I don't know if it's also that distance, but maybe there's something, too, about the actual nature of the relationship that is unconventional. It doesn't mean it's not valid. It just sort of means things are a little bit different from the norm.
Yes.
It could also mean to me, too, that maybe there's a little bit about things that maybe each of you may have never totally revealed or have totally talked to with each other. And that could be for different reasons. I'm not sure if I'm getting any of that, but that maybe there's just something that has been unsaid, maybe by either of you or both of you.
Now, the second position I felt was this person's attitudes towards you. And this is the Four of Cups reversed. And it just seems to me that indicates that some movement is going to happen. Something new is.
They're moving towards a decision.
They're moving towards a decision of some sort.
And the decision might be about marriage or something more permanent commitment.
Right. And
I think that.
Okay.
You don't.
Well, I do
Maybe
believe.
you do.
Well, I do believe there's some movement. I'm just not sure where at the present time. Yeah.
Right.
So that's, and I think I'll let you tackle that one since you.
Oh, I guess this is the part where I'm thinking I'm a smartass and I'm going to regret it. And I'm sorry if we're being a little bit lighthearted
No,
here.
we don't mean to. No, sorry.
This is also about a decision, the Lover's card reverse, and sometimes it may indicate that there's a practicality that has to be sought after, or that what one is looking at is the impracticality and saying, I'd rather have the thing that's more superfluous and maybe not serious. And so I'm wondering if maybe this decision really is about having a different term to the relationship, because that happens in long distance relationships. So I'm not sure if that's something what you're thinking here, is that maybe there's a toning down here of the relationship, and like it's not exactly that it's going on hold, but maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe I'm not brave enough to say it, maybe they're not really sure that it's working for them, and that maybe
And it could be the distance thing. It's possible it could be that. It could be that,
I don't
they,
necessarily feel like there's another person here.
no,
No,
nor
I don't
do
feel
I.
that.
No. But I do feel that there may be other obligations or things that they're struggling with that is keeping them more at a distance. And I'm not seeing that changing right now. I do feel that this is rather unclear as to how they're really feeling towards you from what we've read so far. So I'm going to see if the Lenormand can give a little bit more clarity on that. Wow. Well, I'm not sure it's actually clearing things up, but it does say to not give up hope on this yet. There are definitely, the mountains are indicating that there are definitely obstacles, and clearly the distance is a factor. Because, of course, if people are closer to each other, it's easier to gauge intentions, it's easier to see where things are headed. The distance is clearly an obstacle in this, and I'm not sure that that's going to change, but on the other hand, the clover is indicating to me not to give up hope, that there could be some fateful decisions that will come down that potentially will be okay in the end. It's just right now, I'm not sure anything is going to happen real soon with this.
Right. I feel that way too, mostly. And I also feel too that relationships and marriages sometimes are really private affairs, and really nobody else needs to say, this is how you do it, this is how, because sometimes we all have to come up with different kind of arrangements that work for us. And it may be that the status quo will be achieved between both of you. It just may not necessarily be exactly what either of you wanted, but I have a feeling that you may be able to find that agreement there.
Was that your leg or was that a cat this time? I saw the light.
No, it wasn't my leg, so
must have been a cat. Okay. So that's what we have right now. I know it's not, this is what the cards are not giving me a completely clear-cut answer here, other than the fact is there are clearly some obstacles to be overcome here.
There's definitely challenges, and there's definitely questions to answer or decisions to make.
So I would check back with us again, in the future on this. Maybe, asking something, in the same light, or maybe with a little bit more specificity about where things are headed. But for now, we have to move on, and I hope that helped you somewhat, Cappy.
I hope that helped too. Thank you.
And hey, Smiling Soul, are you with us? I haven't seen you in the stream for a little bit here, or on the chat.
Smiling Soul is having some problems with her health lately.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that.
Hey, there you are. Okay. And you know what? I will DM you a little bit later, Smiling Soul, because I already looked into that a little bit, but forgot to tell you about that. But let's see what the cards say today.
Okay, are we back to my deck again? You want to use my deck?
Okay, so let's do a yes/no on this.
Alrighty.
Let's just say, will it be lucrative? And it will tell us whether it will be or if it's wasting her time.
Shuffle and cut.
Hey, thanks for being patient there, Smiling Soul. And everybody who's still hanging with the chat. We are moving through the list now. We've got...
Just a reminder, we'll be back again next Thursday in America, or our part of America. It is Thanksgiving, but after our turkey blowout, whatever it may end up being, we will be here. There's a semi-popular franchise restaurant in our area called Ram's Horn. And
it's not exactly gourmet food, but we are just thinking of eating out this Thanksgiving instead of making the huge meal.
Yes. So, and we've only done that maybe once before, years ago when your mom was still around. We went to the Clock.
Yes, that's true.
I am too, but I'm just not ready to cook it, Brittany. I am a cook, but I'm just kind of burned out.
Oh man, I make some really good stuff for Thanksgiving, but this year we just want to take it a little easier on ourselves this time.
If there's anyone in the Detroit area who wants to invite us for dinner and it sounds good, we might go. I could always go out to my sister's on the other side of the state, but that's hours away, and I don't think so. Okay, what you got?
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Smiling Soul, other than Hope Springs Eternal here. You have... Oh, camera angle?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, that's okay. You have one ace, the Ace of Swords. You have two aces, the Ace of Wands. And you have a third ace, the Ace of Cups. So it looks like it's a definite yes that it could be lucrative. It could be. So it's
well, they asked their question as twofold, though. So
right, but I asked the yes or no because I figured if it was no, then we could say yes, it looks like a waste of time. But it is yes, which to me indicates it's not a waste of time because
Brittany wants to meet us at Ram's Horn on Thursday, right? We are somewhere in one of the southern suburbs of Detroit area. So.
Yes, we are downriver of Detroit. We'll tell you that. So that's where we hang out these days. We lived in Detroit for 30 years of our lives, though.
Oh, more than that. I lived in either Detroit or Hamtramck for about 50 years.
After that, yes.
Hamtramck is, for those who don't know, is that little tiny city that's totally swallowed by Detroit.
There are two cities within the city of Detroit, which I think is really fascinating.
And they're their own separate cities.
And their own separate cities, yeah. And one is Highland Park, and one is Hamtramck, where a lot of my family lived. And we went there to take care of our aging relatives.
Yeah, we lived there for 17 years.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. Hamtramck was the former, and not so much these days, very much a Polish or Ukrainian American type community. Either of those folks were there, mostly the Polish, and lots of good Polish cuisine and marketplaces and things like that. And then somewhere over the last 20 to 30 years, it's changed a lot. A lot of Middle Eastern folks have moved into the area. Some exciting stories about that, actually.
Yeah. Wow, Smiling Soul, I don't know what to say because, sometimes it does seem as though, because I know who you're asking about, that it seems kind of unrealistic that you might be able to garner somebody like that's attention, but you're getting nothing but positive cards here. So I would say it would not hurt you to try. And right now you have the Clover again, which has been appearing a lot in people's readings, and the Sun, which means success and good luck. It almost seems like fate. So you know what? Take a chance. I'm always hesitant to tell people not to take a chance, on something.
Well, whether you can get back to us or not, because I see
I
you're
saw
walking,
that. Mm-hmm.
I feel really positive about this too.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that you're going to find out
sooner
than later. You should definitely go for it. I had another thought, but I seem to have lost it for some reason. What were you saying?
Well, one thing I would say is that if you go for it and you don't get the desired result that you expected, it may put you in a completely different mindset that will be successful for you. In other words, if you can't make that connection, it may lead you to something else that will bring you success. So by all means, follow your thoughts on this. Go in the direction you're planning on going, because something is going to turn out successful for you.
Well, I don't know if this is strictly an American colloquialism, but they always say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And the thing is you got to keep, trying. You just got to keep trying. And I know you will.
I know you will too. And so we're done with Smiling Soul. Thanks again, Smiling Soul. Searching T, you are up. It is your time. And after Searching T, we have KC, then Brittany, Butterfly, Gina, and possibly Ave Maria.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Searching T, what is your question again? Can you refresh our memory?
Go ahead and start shuffling.
I am.
Alrighty. General reading.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We can do that.
And I'm going to show my Horus real quickly. Horus was the son of Osiris. I guess there are two Horuses, and I sort of confuse them in Egyptian mythology. But there's some interesting stories about Horus and his uncle Set, which are a little bit naughty, so I won't repeat them here. But Horus is a strong archetype.
Well, we're going to run the gauntlet, but I think we're going to get most everybody in for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we can do it. Let's just focus on the prize. We could go chatter on and on, believe me, and we love talking to you all. And it's so great to see you all so active in the chat and supporting each other there. It's fantastic.
It's like we're a community.
Yeah, our own little mini world here. I like that. Well, Searching T, it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag for you. Not all bad. You have the Ace of Coins upright.
A new financial opportunity of some sort. Maybe you're starting a new job, or maybe there's some sort of new source of income, or an investment takes off, things like that. Is that what you feel?
Yes, it could also indicate maybe a start of some new educational pursuits as well.
Okay. Then we have the Sun reversed. Okay. That one is a little bit cloudy-ish in terms of a thing happening. It's possible that you may hear about somebody's problems with children or in a relationship. I don't think this is something affecting you directly, but maybe it's somebody closer to you. Or you got a promotion, or you're hoping for one. That would be wonderful, eh?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think this is about that, the Sun reversed. I think this is more personal. Like, I'm thinking maybe there's a situation with either with children or maybe with other loved ones. So maybe you're just watching it right now, or maybe you know what I'm saying there. Go on. What do you want to say?
Well, I'm not so sure. I would like to think that maybe this could be indicative of you. Maybe this is a period where you've had some self-doubts, some insecurities. And, this is, I'm looking at this growthful card here and thinking that's not necessary. But maybe it's related to this last card here, and that is the Five of Cups upright. And basically, the Five of Cups upright is somebody who I sense is looking at some past disappointments and failures and maybe dwelling too much on those losses as opposed to recognizing some of the good things that are still remaining. And obviously, those good things lead to positive growth that's going to happen for you. So don't dwell on self-doubts or maybe some things in the past that made you lack confidence in yourself, because things are looking pretty good, I think, right now.
To me, these two cards kind of combine, and so maybe the Sun reversed is, in a sense, feelings about the ex.
Okay.
So that maybe what I saw in terms of a relationship not working well, that might be what that was, and so therefore that leads to the sense of sorrow. But it still seems to me that once you take stock, you still have enough left to start reworking and moving ahead for yourself. which will probably be, valuable because you're getting a promotion hopefully there, or you have gotten that. So we're going to pull 2 Lenormands and see what other factors they might involve.
Well, up and coming, I think, is some good news. I'm hoping it's good news. At any rate, it is important news that will be coming to you. Oftentimes, this indicates by letter, but in this day and age, I feel it doesn't have to be. So you will be getting news coming to you, and it's key to something in your life, some move forward, perhaps, something positive.
I'm thinking it's that promotion, maybe.
Well, did you get a promotion already? Or are you possibly...
Well, they say promotion at jobs, so I'm not sure if they mean that did happen or that's what they're waiting on.
I sense some news coming to you is key to some success that is coming your way.
And keys open up things,
Yes.
and the writers provide the trajectory in the way I look at Lenormand. So I'm also wondering, too, if there is something that may involve a little bit of movement or travel. Not necessarily big travel, but like maybe the promotion moves you to another floor, another office, or another position, something like that. But it feels really good. It feels like something that you would like.
I like what you say about this as far as opportunities go. So, opening doors to opportunities, the keys do that. And that may very well be what, in fact, this is. So something new, some new opportunity may be coming your way.
You're
that's
welcome.
very good, Searching T. Keep us posted. Absolutely.
Yeah, feel free to come back and chat with us some other time.
Well, Jacob, I don't think so. We're going to be running out of time. I think we wouldn't be able to fit in another reading. We're going to try to get everybody who's currently on the list in.
You never know. It's slightly possible, but probably not.
Probably not, but if you hang on, we can see what happens. I'll put your name down, but I really am kind of not
God bless
so
you
sure.
too, Searching T.
All right. So we are up to KC. Hey.
Hi, Casey.
What do you have for us today? And thanks for letting Violet Ann have your spot.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
I guess I knew there was a reason why I brought out my gay tarot today. I don't read with these very often, but I think this will be really interesting because not only will I read with them for you, which I think will be a pleasure, but also Banshee would have to help me too, and she's probably never worked with this deck.
Okay.
I do love this deck. I've used it a number of times, and it's very thoughtful. Like I mentioned earlier, just in case you weren't here, it's from the Los Scarabos, which are kind of some European artists and craftspersons who designed it for Llewellyn.
Well, hey, Casey, I think you've just given us our spread, basically.
The spatial deck.
We will do the first card as the kind of guy your next romance will be, and how you'll meet them will be the card after, and then we'll try the third card to see for when.
Now, this is an exclusively gay male deck, but we do have some other decks that have a few cards that you can transition for use for same-gender relationships or non-binary relationships. So
Thank you, smiling soul.
we know we are, but what are you? You are too.
Everybody
We're all
is.
awesome.
We're all
We're
awesome.
all awesome.
You know.
Go ahead and shuffle.
And you know, you guys all motivate us all the time.
You know, sometimes I'm feeling like a little bit tired, especially on a Sunday morning, like I've just been lazy around all morning, like, oh, we have to do that. And then the closer I get to it, the more excited I actually get about doing it. Like, yeah, we got to do that. So you guys really light our fire.
Well, and as you all know, we're getting up there in age, and we do work a 9-to-5 job. So, you know, admittedly, yeah, we get worn out from time to time, but this is just such a wonderful outlet for us. We're so glad we reopened this door in our lives, and that, you know, that
It was meant to
YouTube
be.
and all
It was
these,
meant to be.
and our wonderful producer son suggested that we needed to do something like this.
We had read cards for people for decades, sometimes at larger venues, sometimes just at little parties. We offered parties to people, and we did some of that. And we never really did it with a lot of thought about, making money off of it. We just thought we really liked doing it. And we've done it for all kinds of charities. Well, not all kinds, but several kinds of charities. And
I think we only made money for ourselves off of it like twice, right?
yeah, really. But
So-
I think this was just the right time for this all to happen.
And of course, we are planning on monetizing some longer readings in the year ahead, but we will always be doing things, small readings for free online as well. And we hope you'll support us.
Thank you. And Masonic, there are so many kinds of cards, and we will be doing
And we
some
have a lot of
feature YouTube videos on that, on at least what we own. Okay, let's get
Has
to your
anybody
reading,
ever
Cal.
heard of the Ferret Tarot?
Oh my God.
I have it.
The Ferret Tarot. So our first card,
Okay.
what was this
Oh,
describing?
the first card is basically what kind of guy. And what do we have here? Oh, it's the Four of Cups. I'd say somebody who's very reflective, contemplative, and
No, I think that's you. I think what it's saying is you're going to have the choice of what you want in a way, or that this is the, no, I know what it is. This is the person who chooses. Look, they're the Four of Cups. They're choosing.
well, I'm looking
Look
at
at
the
that card. Look at the
position.
image.
I am looking at it, and I'm going to read this as the
hates me
kind
for
of
doing
guy
this.
your next romance will be with. He can read it the way he wants, but I'm going to go that way. The kind of guy, and I feel it's somebody who is going to be very contemplative, thoughtful kind of person, who maybe moody to some extent, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. There's somebody who lives very internally.
Well, the card shows the picture of somebody who's sort of like a director of a play, and it looks like he has several actors to choose from. And that, of course, is a traditional part of the Four of Cups, somebody who's looking at choices. So I'm thinking this card describes a person who is in the arts a little bit, perhaps, and also has to make certain decisions or choices about how that artisticness deploys. So I'm thinking it's a person who has artistic qualities and is a loving person, but wants to make the right choice too.
Well, and I think clearly that he's right because, the cups are about art or even a poetic nature in a way, creativity that is an aspect of this. I think we could both be right in this respect. I sense somebody though who lives a lot internally, does a lot of reflection, which hey, in this world today is not a bad thing. I wish people would think more before they act. So to speak.
But I think this is more about that person because that's what the position is.
Right.
So
Well, that's what I said.
I'm telling Kel that.
Yep.
Okay, the second one
Yes.
is...
Okay, and the second one, if you're interested in the position, is how they'll meet.
the Nine of Coins reversed.
Well, it's certainly you're not going to meet by sitting around at home enjoying your home environment. I think you're going to have to it's going to be through some social occasion, in my opinion.
Well, to me, this card sort of says that maybe you're going to meet in an unlikely spot where this person maybe is not exactly in their normal environment.
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling here. So, like, maybe if they were a person who didn't really like anything about nature, you're going to meet them in a garden or a park somehow, some garden party, something like that.
Well, and
Have I
I
thrown you
also
off?
feel that, now that you said that too, that I feel like where you might meet them is not in a typical spot for you.
Okay, that could
Yeah.
be too. It's one or the other. Like
Yeah.
they're somehow you're out of the environment for either of you when you meet.
Yeah.
Just not a typical place where either you would meet somebody that might be a possibility of a romance or a relationship.
And let's see if we can get a beat on when now.
Oh, the Sage of Coins.
And what is the Sage the King?
The Sage is more like the King because
Okay.
it's an older man. I like this. This is old Obi Sunday gardening.
Well, I think, but it is a coin. And so to me, I have a feeling that this is still going to take a little bit of time. Coins are kind of the slower moving cards, in my opinion.
This is somebody who's very comfortable waiting because they're here with the earth. And, if you're a gardener, if you're somebody that works with that, it's like you plant seeds that may take months to bring anything. And so there's a sort of wisdom implied with that. Now, what did you say the position was again?
It's the when.
The when. Well, it
I
sounds
think
like the seeds have to be planted.
you're right. And what I would say to you is anything worthwhile is worth the wait. And it sounds like this is a little time off yet. If I had to say, it could be a full, like a garden, when you're growing things, it might take a full growing cycle.
A season, a cycle of
Season.
seasons, even.
Yes. So it could be a year cycle. And I'm going to draw a couple Lenormand for you, Casey, just to see. Management, eh? Okay.
Well, I think Casey said that in reaction to that card, because that sort of implies that to some degree, yeah.
I do see that. Well, anything worth waiting for is worth the wait. I think that is a truth.
I'm pretty patient myself. I have a friend who says that Scorpios, let's see, how does she put this? Capricorns are patient Scorpios. Scorpios are impatient Capricorns. But I am a patient person because I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't have the Gay Lenormand, but I do have the Lady card here, which is indicative of another person, and I do have the Moon. To me, this indicates that this relationship could be very successful, is what I'm gathering from that. Another thing about the Moon card, some people often think of the Moon as the workplace. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit on the fence on that one, but I would say that maybe you could find out about this person or meet this person through somebody else, and it could possibly be through a woman that you meet this person.
Well, I'm just going to go with the more blunt things that a Scorpio like me would see.
Be ready.
Number one, I think you're going to meet them at night. Wherever this happens, it's going to be in an evening.
I think that's a really good thing, yes.
And probably a party. They're riding off to the castle. It's like not Snow White, Cinderella thing maybe. And that maybe you're just going to somehow meet him in the evening at some event. And I agree with Banshee that maybe this is a lady friend of yours who is hosting an event of some sort perhaps, or some lady you know, if they're not really a friend, will invite you to this, and maybe that's where it's going to happen at. I don't know when that is. I think it's maybe, like we said before, more in the future. But I think like when anybody... No, not...
Maybe not this week.
Wait, let me pull a quick one and see. Let's see that.
I mean, maybe it wouldn't be with this person, let's just say.
Well, I pulled this deck's version of the High Priestess reversed, and this one is called the Intuitive. It's a beautiful card. I love it. But it's reversed, and so it is saying that maybe not
maybe
this week.
Not.
Maybe not this week.
Hey.
2 weeks. Two weeks.
I just want to add something for everybody on the stream right now, because I see we're in what would be our last 10 minutes, but we will go overtime to fit everybody in that we have currently, except Jacob. We're going to have to let you go till next time. But we will get everybody else in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 people on the list. Brittany, you are next.
And Brittany is right there laughing at what we've been talking about.
So, Brittany, if you could refresh us with your question. So it's Brittany, Butterfly, Gina, and then Ave Maria.
All right, we're going to be pinch hitting our overtime.
Well, we will. It's okay.
It's
okay. Fine. It's a good day today. It's a good day for overtime.
So, Brittany, do you want a general or do you have a specific question?
You're very welcome, Jacob. Sorry we couldn't do it, but you never know. And sometimes on Thursdays we have a little bit more time, depending on things. So if you, Thanksgiving maybe is not the best day to check with us, but check with us on a Thursday too.
You're welcome, Kal-El.
You are very welcome, Casey.
I feel all nummy. In a good way.
All right, Brittany, what you got for us?
Oh, element as in
Okay, you mean
astrological
sign. Okay, we'll check that for you. Oh, all right then.
Am I doing my deck?
Let's use mine.
Okay, we'll get with it, dear.
I shall. Okay, so you want to know If you'll meet your future husband soon. What
And what
element?
element may they be?
Let's take a look at what we get here. Let's throw 3 cards and see if there's something elemental that dominates. Just one sec. Wow, one thing about these cards is they're not bending right for my ruffling.
I like how people call me Mr. O because you do.
You know, his name is Oberon. We've played with the name a lot. We have called him Obi. We have called him Obi-Wan, and we've also called him Only One Cannoli for some reason.
That's pretty belabored.
But anyway, I tend to go with Mr. O.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'd say it's leaning towards air. It could be air elemental. You have the 7 of Swords upright. You have the Page of Cups upright. And you have the 3 of Swords reversed, which I think is important here. So, do you want to start?
Oh, yes, I do.
I figured you had something.
I'm getting a really
I
big
have an
psychic
impression
flash
too.
that after maybe somebody you know, maybe they're a friend or maybe not, somebody's breakup, you may actually get involved in that person. I'm getting the feeling like somebody you know that maybe you've thought about before, but they were with somebody else, may move towards your area or you may move towards their area. And I get the feeling like, besides the fact that they may be an air sign, that they do have a lot of romantic things about them, or maybe that's what they see in you, the romantic component. I'm getting that mostly from the Page of Cups because it's the water sign. But the thing about it being the post relationship, the 3 of Swords indicates that to me, that basically after some sort of strife or heartfelt situation, the things kind of calm and one of you is stealing away the other from the other situation. Like maybe you're coming in to pick up from that broken relationship or they're coming in from the broken relationship. It's not like they're really stealing you. I'm just sort of using that as the potential metaphor because that card does sort of imply things moving from one side to the other in a way to me. What do you want to say here? You think I'm totally off, don't you?
No, not at all. But I do think we see different perspectives on these cards sometimes.
Which is why 2 card readers are better than 1.
Or more confusing than one, depending on how you look at it. But I would say this, Brittany, I sense that it could be an air sign. And I feel that the Page of Cups is indicating to me that there could be, something happening relationship wise in the future, whether it's going to be, something that's going to be your future husband. I'm not sure, but I do think something is going to happen, something new. And I do feel that this is coming after maybe some type of disappointments. It seems to me that
They've had a breakup.
You have had a breakup. Okay, because, what I've sensed here is there is some kind of loss and disappointment that you are healing from, most definitely. And it was kind of an aggressive or an abrupt breakup is what I feel about it. And so that is... The good news is it looks like something new is fomenting and formulating, but it might be too soon yet to really indicate that this is going to be the one. And I do sense that with the Page of Cups, this could be happening sooner than later. I would say within a 3-month window for sure, something might be happening for you to maybe at least bring you out of the feeling of loneliness that you're experiencing right now.
Yeah, so I don't know really that this is necessarily the husband material, but there may be a bond that's necessary at this time. And I'm thinking that like Banshee says, possibly an air sign, but I do feel there's a watery component, like maybe they have moon in a water sign or something like that, ascendant, because there's an emotional thing going on with that person who feels their emotions.
Okay.
We have a new subscriber, Vicky.
I see that. Vicky. Thank you for subscribing. I have to tell you today, though, that we won't be able to fit you in for a reading, unfortunately, because we're going to go a little bit into overtime to do the people we have on our list right now. But by all means, check us out again. Mr. O is going to post our schedule again for us.
Right, and we will actually be here next Thursday night, although in America it's Thanksgiving, but we plan on being here post-turkey and all to read from 7 to 9, so hopefully we can catch you then.
Well, you know what? I understand if you can't make it, but it might be a slow night for us on Thanksgiving, depending on how busy people are. So it might be a good night to check in and get in on the stream. Brittany, I pulled a couple Lenormand for you, and one is the clouds, and one is the child. And so, what I would say to you is this: the child is kind of still like you really are going through this moodiness and depression, and the child is trying to tell you that there is something new that's going to happen for you. But I think it's a small step in the process of you moving on from the relationship that fell apart. In other words, there may be a relationship that happens for you, but it is not going to be a long-term one. I'm sensing that with the child because the child usually means something small or short. And so I do feel something new is going to develop for you, and it might be a real boost in something that you need at this time, and you should take it for that. And, maybe it'll give you the confidence you need going forward. How do you feel, Mr. O?
Well, to me, the clouds always sort of signify maybe some sort of inability to see something or something is hidden from you. The child is kind of literal, and I don't know that maybe there's a child involved in the situation, or maybe that it's just the wish to really start creating your family, which is understandable. So I do feel that yes, you shouldn't necessarily settle for relationships that don't look like they have a possibility of working that way. And I don't know that I exactly see it here, but I don't know that I exactly don't see it. So I'm not really sure. It might be the kind of thing that we'll have to investigate further as we move along, and hopefully you can ask that question again. Aww.
Oh, hang on, Ave Maria. We will get back to you. Brittany, I hope that helped somewhat, and we have to move on, but thanks for tuning in, and we hope we'll read for you again soon.
Let us know what happens, and maybe we can read again and define that more.
Okay, the rest of the list that we are reading for today is Butterfly, who is up right now, Gina, and then Ave Maria, and we will be calling it a day after that.
So Ave Maria, you're the third person.
You're the third person, but you are coming up very soon.
Keep that in mind, and we'll ask you again, or we'll get to that in a moment.
What will happen in my love life the rest of this year, if anything happened? Okay, you're
welcome.
single. All right.
You're welcome, Brittany.
We will throw, since it's so soon, the end of the year is coming, we will throw 3 cards and see what the influences and aspects are.
Specifically for emotional.
Yes, for this rest of this year. And maybe this is a good time to talk, while I'm shuffling, to talk about your emotional matters.
Yes, and on Fridays, I will post a pre-recorded video from the previous night where I do a reading for each of the elemental associations of the zodiac. So I do a quick 3-card reading for the air signs, the fire signs, the water signs, and the earth signs. It's a week's outlook on what kind of emotional exchanges you may have. So it may be about specifically love relationships, but maybe about any of the emotional tangles and ups and downs of your life. And those are on Fridays, probably around 9 o'clock most of the time.
In the morning?
Yep, 9 a.m.
He's going to schedule it, because of
and
course
that's Friday.
We're at work at that time.
Ruled by Venus.
That's right.
We are about to go into overtime, so let's step it up.
Okay, Butterfly. Let's see what's going on.
Yes, Banshee will be there shortly or a little bit later. Wow. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's some major stuff here. We have Temperance, upright. We have Judgment, upright. And we have the King of Swords, reversed. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that I think part of your focus between now and the end of the year is achieving some balance and between, your in your emotional realm of your life, you have to kind of find some balance and harmony within and not get too hung up on outcomes at this time.
Because that's what this card is, really, in a way.
Yes.
The Judgment card is about outcomes, and so this may signify the struggle between those, that you are looking more towards having something be decided. This also could say, too, that maybe where you have been thinking you would find that is not necessarily where you would find that maybe you need to think about where you express yourself emotionally in terms of attracting that. It may not be where you have been.
And so and see, the problem with this here is if we're hung up on I need.
Bye, Vicky.
Oh, take care. Good. Hope to see you next time. Absolutely. And so, what I would say to you, Butterfly, is that if you get too hung up on I need this now, there could be the possibility of making a not so good decision with somebody who may not be worth your while.
Yeah, the King of Swords to me always presents as somebody who's a little bit too judgmental. It's not necessarily that they're unfair, but they may be tainted by something in terms of their decision. It's not that they're unfair, but they may have a partiality towards something else. And so this could represent the person who is biding their time until they find a relationship that they feel better about, but you'll do in the meantime, quote unquote. So you may want to think about that and remain balanced.
Oh my gosh.
Now what do we got?
Well, I pulled the Lenormand cards here, and I got the lady and the gentleman,
Oh dear.
which does seem to indicate something could be coming by the end of the year. However, I would caution you to take it slow. Definitely take it slow, because it seems like this person, might not be best suited for you. They seem like they're very, as he said, judgmental. But to me, that could mean that, they could be kind of hypercritical of you and things that you do and wanting you to change their life to revolve around them.
Yes, and I sort of feel that's corroborated by the Judgment card, because that could represent more of a turn towards conventional views on most things.
I think it could be someone new, actually. I do think this could indicate someone new.
I feel that way. I don't feel that it's necessarily somebody you already know.
Yeah. Yeah. So just keep eyes open and, don't go into this with, I would say, more of an open mind and not set on outcomes. Take it for what it is and just see where it's going. And if this person turns out to be somebody who is all in it for themselves, well, take the money and run, so to speak.
For what it's worth, I think that they might be an air sign, possibly, most likely Libra.
It's possible. Yeah.
So.
Okay, and that's what we have for you right now, Butterfly. I hope that was worth waiting for. Thanks for hanging on with us this long. Really appreciate it. And hey, Gina, are you still with us by chance? We'll see if you are, and we'll be happy to do a reading for you. And if not, we will catch you next time. Oh, there you are.
Oh dear. We're gonna take
what an awesome
step
one,
on
yes.
the wild side.
I really love chatting with you on Twitter, Gina. You are really a light there for me.
You're welcome, Butterfly.
And Mr. O doesn't spend as much time on Twitter that I do, but I know I've talked to him about you a bit recently. So definitely glad you are joining us. I'm sorry I didn't bring my postcard from Spirits cards down. That is such an awesome deck. I always find I hear something from my ancestors when I read those cards.
Do you think they would want you to make some sort of sacrifice or do something to gain wisdom in some way? Is there some lesson that you think that they would want you to realize now that maybe they didn't have a chance to talk to you about when they were around? I just pulled that randomly as I reread your words, and so I thought at this very moment I'm pulling the card, and I pulled the Hangman, and so I sort of had that feeling like maybe that would be one thing they could say to you, that you do. Yes, that's the one I pulled. So once again, I sort of felt that meant that maybe they felt there was some wisdom you may be able to gain, or that they wished you had gained. Maybe they were the ones who weren't able to give that to you. Maybe that was the sacrifice that they could not make for you, or that they tried to make for you. One or the other, I guess, because it sort of really does sort of say the sacrifice was made. So the question is, did they make the sacrifice for you, or are they wanting you to make that sacrifice for wisdom?
Wow.
Nice.
I cannot believe the cards,
Wow.
We have pulled for you here.
I think.
Clearly, from what you've said about your parents, you've thought a lot. You've got a lot from them. One of the cards I pulled is the King of Pentacles upright. And this one is Hera, is the Empress card in this deck that I'm using today. Very maternal, interesting image there. And the Ace of Cups, very strong woman Hera was. And the Ace of Cups upright. This is like amazing. I think it does show, there was a lot of love between the two of them together. And what they're maybe trying to tell you is that, you have a lot of love that you can give to others.
Well, I'm going to go with classical mythology a little bit, because Hera is kind of an archetype for me, being the kind of person I am. However, some people look at Hera a little differently, but I'm just going to say this is like in some of the myths, Hera was often the jilted wife that Zeus went around behind her back. And
That's
so
true.
At various times she tried to be vengeful. But I think that that's maybe more of a patriarchal view on her, because ultimately in the myths, Hera remained faithful. And maybe the thing is that maybe somehow she was able to impart another kind of wisdom and love to him, and maybe she reformed him. Maybe we don't see that in the myths, but maybe Hera really is beneficent in that sense, that she showed her true love and maybe pulled Zeus back towards his philandering ways.
I kind of feel too that, as Hera is being depicted as the Empress here, which is a very maternal instinct kind of card, I get the feeling that, Hera being such a strong force, she's made you a very, very strong person, and she sees that in you. That's the message I think she's sending your way is, she's happy to see you are the strong individual that you turned out to be. And the King of Pentacles here also shows, is another very growthful, positive card in the male aspect here.
Stability too.
And it's stability, just showing that they're very proud, that you are able to carry on in the way that you have with your life, and that you are able to share so much love and giving. It seems like you give a lot of yourself to other people here. The Ace of Cups is just such a beautiful, and maybe what they're also trying to say is that, there is a lot of love in store for you, in the future.
The Empress is literally nature, so I love you saying that, Gina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so basically too, and the Ace of Cups is the beginning of something fruitful and loving, and so that's what I'm thinking they're trying to tell you is not only are you giving love, be ready to receive some back at you. I think that's what they're saying is that the universe is about to give you a very joy-filled, happy experience.
In some cosmologies that I am familiar with, mostly the more or less Wiccan kind of one, sometimes our departed beloved become the mighty ones themselves. And so they pour that love over us, hoping that you are their avatar in a way to further pull that love out into the world. So I'm getting like a little bit of a chill here saying that. So I hope that relates for you.
Well, I don't know what to say about this. It's a very odd combination to get together here. There is the tree, which is health, and the snake. And all I would say to you is if they have a message for you at all, to me, it concerns maybe your health, that they want you to make sure that, you're getting the appropriate advice that you need. And if there is anything that you are concerned about, this is the time to really start exploring that more and looking into it. That's sort of because the tree is all about health and well-being.
And because the tree has a face and it looks like it's, a part of a goddess or something
And it's
like
sort
that.
of ancestral in a way too, roots.
It is once again nature. It is once again nature. And to me, the snake facing off with that, what is that? I forget what they call
It's like
those. I forget what they call those.
Oh gosh, I'm trying
Rikki
to.
Tikki Tavi from Kipling, but I can't think of what that is.
It looks like a mirror, not a meerkat. What are those things?
But to me, this is sort of like the
think of
balance
them.
between
Prairie
aspects
dog,
of
prairie
nature.
dog.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not though. It's something more from India or
Oh, okay.
it's the Kipling story.
Oh, the Kipling story. Yes.
Rikki Tikki Tavi.
Oh, yeah.
What was that critter?
I can't think of it.
I'm glad you're very healthy. I sort of feel, and I hope you remain that way, that this is sort of like the meeting of different aspects of nature too. To me, this is what I feel because I don't read them, but I just go with that image there, and that this is nature itself too. And so I sort of feel like there is some sort of acknowledgement of the roles of nature that is also what they're telling you, that life is a cycle and that there is growth and there is a time to not be growthful, to possibly rest, nature rest.
Well, and if this is relating to health at all, something else.
Mongoose, thank you.
Mongoose.
Thank you,
Oh,
Cal.
darn it. Thank you, Casey. I could not think of it for the life of me. But something else came to mind, Gina, because it is a problem of mine, actually. And the snake in the Lenormand can also be indicative of intestinal concerns. So what they might also be saying is that, if you have an area to watch for, and it could also be saying is just beware that you don't take too much of other people's things into yourself, because of course that can get disrupt your intestinal and your stomach tract, a lot of stress in that, and the things that we take on and emotional burdens from others can often upset that balance.
I'd say that they look at you and they just worry a little bit from beyond, but maybe they don't always have to. Maybe you are, as healthy as you could be right now.
Anyway, that is just something to keep in mind, I would say, Gina. But what a beautiful reading you had there.
That was really nice.
I think that just sums it up, especially with what you posted today on Twitter. Okay, so thanks for definitely tuning in with us. We're so grateful you came.
Thank
and
you.
Let's see, we've got Ave Maria. What
Has
is
I asked
coming
her a
towards
question?
me? When will I meet new good man for marriage? Okay, you're a Capricorn female and you are single.
So this is sort of
Okay.
time related.
This is time related. We're going to have to
Okay.
see what we can pull out for you here. But again, what is coming towards her could be one. Will it be somebody who will be
You're very welcome, Gina
serious?
Queen.
And, like when? Let's see what we can come up with. Did you shuffle these yet?
I have.
Okay. Thanks again for sticking with us. We are about 15 minutes into overtime now, but we
Who's
are getting it
counting?
done. We
Who's
are
counting?
getting it done. All right. Okay, Ave Maria. Let's see what we have. Three
Three.
cards.
There's that challenge again.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
well as that one, but reversed.
So
Okay, so the first card is the Seven of Swords and it's reversed.
what is coming to Ave Maria?
Well, it may be, with this card, I get the feeling like maybe somebody reappears in your life, or maybe they bring something back into your life. Maybe it's not them reappearing, but maybe they bring a situation back into your life, or they bring somebody back into your life that they may have pulled away from your life. So in other words,
Two things, I think, is what he's saying here. This could possibly be somebody from your past resurfacing, or this could be somebody who just, for better or worse, brings up memories of a past relationship or something like that, or things that you went through before, kind of like a deja vu in a way. At
well,
least that's the way I'm looking at that.
there's an air quality about that
Yeah.
card, so maybe it is an Aquarius.
Okay, that's possible because, yes, swords are air. It's interesting because and so I want to look at the second part of this. We'll meet new good person. Yeah, I think it could be air, actually. I think
Okay.
it could be. So we also have Rhiannon here, which is movement in a way.
Sure. Okay, so this position is
What is this? Somebody who could be serious. That's the four of, which is that,
the
pence?
Four of Pentacles. They
I'm not so sure.
it's possible that there's somebody who's in a process of changing possibly to a better person. They may have been somebody that maybe was more reserved or more clingy, and maybe now they're
More self-absorbed.
more self-absorbed, and maybe now they're trying to be a better person in some ways.
So it's somebody undergoing some transformations
Earth qualities,
of
and
their
right, and
own.
well, that's
and it
the
is
devil.
positive,
That's-
yeah.
That's not about change like death would be.
No.
No, but it is about a change in a way.
No, I was thinking of this card.
I know
though,
that, but
they're
I'm
transforming.
I'm already correlating the two.
The devil seems to be that. Well,
The devil's called challenge in this deck, and so that often relates to the kind of things, whether it's a spirit of evil or not, which we don't necessarily believe in, that really are forcing you or challenging you to make some changes in your life. And usually those are changes that better you.
I'm kind of thinking that the devil in this reading is telling me, though, that don't focus too much on the outcomes at this time. It's almost as if, the fact that you are looking for this serious thing maybe really strongly right now is possibly blocking you from achieving what you really desire. And that right now, if you take things a little bit more loosely as they come, maybe this is more likely to happen for you, if that makes sense to you at all. That's what I'm feeling.
With the X, do you feel that that person maybe at times kept you from being your better self, or maybe didn't encourage you always to be your better self too? Because I'm wondering if I pick up a quality of that from the X, but I'm also picking up something that feels new in a way, and that maybe it's more related to an earth sign kind of consciousness or personality. What do you think? Should we go ahead
I'm
and do our
going to do the
Lenormand?
Lenormand to see if I get any more clarity, to see if this is somebody coming back. Well, thank you, Smiling Soul. We do plan on setting up donations for anybody who is willing in the new year. And then, of course, we will set up longer readings for cost. So, yeah, that is in the cards. See what I did there? But we will always be doing free readings online as well. And we're hoping that will encourage people to seek out more from us, or to at least donate, because it does take time and energy to
In a
do
way,
these readings.
either reversed or not, I'd say the Seven of Swords does sort of talk about a betrayal in a way. So that could be about that person.
Okay, right now I'm sensing that there is still some disturbances in the force here, if you pardon my Star Wars analogy. The garden is kind of social life and things, and maybe you have not been getting a lot of satisfaction out of social events or getting out with friends and things like that, that things have just, and you do want to settle down. I sense that strongly. And so you really don't feel like, you want to put yourself out there again. But I would say to you that this is what you're probably going to have to do to some extent to attract something new. and that right now you haven't been in the mindset for it, and so you're really going to have to work on your own level of self-esteem and move forward from there.
Combined with the challenge card, I'm feeling
Yes.
a lot of what Banshee says is true, that in some ways you have not been able to be your best self, and that to some degree I do feel like maybe it is something about the locale or environment that you operate in, and maybe you do have to consider being somehow in a different social situation. So for example, if there was a certain club or place you like to go to, coffee shop, whatever it was, maybe you don't want to do that for a while. Maybe you want to investigate some places. It sounds to me like maybe you just need a new crowd, a new field of involvement, and you should really approach that carefully.
It is hard after you've been betrayed, as you state here, to get yourself on solid ground again. But I sense that you're going to have to do a little bit more work on yourself in order to be ready for something new and better to come to you. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind, there's a danger of repeating old cycles, and you don't want to do that. And even though it wasn't your fault to break up previously, you still have to work on yourself because it has really impacted you in a negative way. And so we have to move you forward from there. And so I suggest, we ask some more questions later. Maybe as it gets closer to the new year, we'll look ahead into the new year and see what's in store for you then.
I pulled one last card.
Since you're our last reading.
Yeah, and it's the Four of Wands reversed, and I feel that this card says that ultimately things are going to work out for you. It just may be a little bit longer than what you want. But ultimately, I do think things will work out for you. You just don't need to rush it. You need to sort of enjoy what is around you now. Enjoy also what your friends or your social involvements do have. Maybe there are other people who need some friendliness from you right now, and maybe that will parlay into something better for you in the future.
Well, and also enjoy the fact that even though you love this person you were with that betrayed you very much, that you are now out of a bad situation that harmed you. Enjoy that fact and live in that moment, because it's important that you survive that and you are ready to move forward now.
In general, it's always possible that you might meet somebody through your friends. That's what I think this card also tells me. Mm-hmm. So just don't be rushing it. Let it be more organic. Let it grow. If you go to holiday gatherings and you meet somebody nice,
or through family,
keep
friends,
in touch, but don't necessarily wear your heart on your sleeve, as they say.
Yeah. And that's it. That wraps up today. We are so grateful and glad we were able to read for everybody. And we hope everybody has gotten a message they needed to hear. And we hope to see you at our next live stream on Thanksgiving evening or the following Sunday. Thanksgiving will be on from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And Sunday, of course, will be. You're not working next Sunday, are you?
What is that? No, that's
you guys are closed,
weekend.
aren't
Yeah.
you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are going to be here next Sunday, same time, same place, from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care, Casey. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.